What's up, YouTube? I'm gonna do some arrow building today. Show you guys how I build my arrows. Actually, I'll show you guys some deer real quick. This deer right here, the Ohio buck, just a big old bruiser of a buck. He was spot and stalk. This one right here, it's an Ohio buck. Obviously, I got it mounted because of that. These are just some of my favorites. I just mounted my favorites. This is my office. Well, it used to be my office. Now, it's home of a little foster baby. So anyway, yeah, so check this out. This deer right here, I did a hanging hunt on him. I went in one day after work, did some scouting, found some fresh scrapes. It was early October, right after season opened in Ohio. I hung stand on them scrapes. Went there the next morning. He came right in there and got him done. I was in the stand about an hour. This deer right here, this is just another big bruiser. Never gonna be much, but I hunted this deer. I never got any luck and moved across the farm, and I was on the other side hunting in the ground blind where I had a whole bunch of does, and had does on eating on the corn pile, and he came right in there running them off, and I let him have it. The reason I mounted that deer, that was my first good bow kill. The reason I mounted him is because I hunted the fire out of him and ended up killing. Well, I didn't mount him, but I wanted to. I just didn't do it. But he came, literally, he was a mile and a half from where I'd been hunting him. This is a Texas deer. That's just a deadhead we found. This deer up here is another Ohio deer. Now, the reason I mounted that deer was because I was at work and it was about 20-mile-an-hour winds, and I kept complaining, saying I should be deer hunting, and everybody's like, "You don't kill nothing, they don't move in the wind." I'm like, deer live in the wind every day. Plus, it's the rut. All that wind is doing is blowing all that beautiful doe smell around. If the bucks are smelling does, they're gonna move. Now, this deer right here, that's a deer my dad killed a long time ago down in South Arkansas. Next deer I kill, when I get a cape, I'm gonna have it mounted. Now this crazy looking rascal right here came from Tennessee. I was hunting a real high, a buck that had real tall G2s. And you can see the way his horns are made. I thought it was that buck. So I was sitting there and I had a little spike that was coming in. And he would come in and he would eat some under a white oak tree, and then he would go lay down about 20 yards away. He came in at noon, and he did that about every hour. And when he was laying on the ground, this deer here, he came running, just busting up. I was on a big point, kind of like the one I showed you guys in the video earlier, but it was a big point, and it was all pines and circled all the way around it. And deep drop-off ridges was oaks down the bottom, and I knew there was that one buck was bedded up there because I had him on camera several times bedded up. And when I got, all of a sudden, just busting out of nowhere was this deer chasing a doe, and he ran that doe right over the top of that damn spike, and that spike jumped up. He jumped up. All this happened just like that too, and they come busting up through there. That spike jumped up, scared me. I thought I was gonna fall out of the tree stand. I thought, what's happening? It sounded like a gorilla fight in the woods. They stopped for 1 second when that little spike jumped up, and that doe seen her chance to get away. She darted back off the ridge, and all this was only, 25, 30 yards away. He took off running after her to dart back up, and all I could think about was stop him and shoot, and I was like, hey, hey, hey! And as I'm yelling, I'm drawing back, and he literally stopped right under my tree. When I said, hey, he looked up at me, and I shot him right through the throat and heart shot him. He ran like 20 yards and killed over. So yeah, I was super excited. The wrong deer, still super exciting. Never had a deer really bed up and stay underneath me all day. And also, kill them with a bow. Sometimes they just got to go on the wall. This deer right here, I mounted him because he's a double main beam. He's actually got 12 points. He's got some kickers and stuff in the back, but that was a public land deer, Kentucky. Now, I had been hunting my butt off, driving 8 hours to Kentucky, staying in a hotel, hunting on the weekends on public land, walking in 2.5 miles, getting to my spot. I've been hunting my butt off, and I had a wide deer with short tines come in, super wide, probably 20 inches. Come in perfect. I was sitting in a tree stand, leaning back. I was hunting on a triple trunk tree like this, and I was in the back trunk, and right behind me was a cliff, and I was on a flat ridge, and then it dropped off on the other side about 40 yards away, and I was leaning back. I had one trunk in front of me and one trunk to my left, and I was like, let me hit this can call. And I was like, meh. And as I looked up, that wide buck looked up at me. I was like, oh shit, I'm busted. But he didn't, nope, wasn't busted. He walked straight to the base of my tree. And I drew back on him, but I was scared to shoot because if he heard the bow, I thought he'd throw his head up and turn and run, and he would hit my arrow and deflect it. Otherwise, I'd have shot him right between the shoulder blades. Well, he turned, and when he turned, he walked behind some brush, and he came through a hole about the size of a beach ball. When he did, I shot him, but I didn't shoot him. I shot at him. There was one limb coming out, and I seen my arrow hit that limb, and it rolled that limb around until the arrow came off, hit the ground underneath him, and he ran off. Called my wife. I was like, you ain't gonna believe this. I've been hunting my butt off, walking in here, crossing creeks, wet feet, all this crap, only to miss. I hit a limb and missed. She was like, well, that's bow hunting. I was like, well, I don't want to hear that shit. Tell me it's gonna be okay. Tell me something. Tell me Jesus is about to send me another deer. Something. And just talking to her, and I'm kind of talking low about like this, whatever. And I'm like, I hear something. Hold on. I leaned back and looked past that trunk that was right there, and that sucker was making a scrape 15 yards away. I was like, I gotta go. Please. Put that in my phone. He walked right around to that same hole where the deer I just missed, and I was like, well, I know that limb ain't there no more. So I drew back and cut down and let him have it. And then he didn't go anywhere. So that was him. Big body buck. Like I said, he has all that craziness on there, double main beam. So then I got this one that I call my triple main beam. And then, of course, this is my antelope from Wyoming. He's got two extra horns in the back. So all the people there told me they've never seen that before. But shot him at 72 yards. Now, obviously, I mounted him because this is my first pronghorn. But I'm going to tell you right now, there was about 30 failed attempts at shooting them, spotting and stalking. I could get about 90 yards, and the wind just howling. And that would be about as close as I could get before they bust me. I finally got this one at 72 yards and let him have it. But that's just a few of my deer. My favorites in my foster baby office room. So anyway, that's about all that.